are you willing to do to make a difference?
Elect Danny Dromm. He'll make good change in the city council.
All right, thank you everybody.
Danny!
We'd also like to thank the 150 priests on this rally and on these issues in our community. We extend our gratitude to them. And to each and every one of you that's continued to work to activate and make our city a safer and inclusive place. Thank you. Pass those donuts around, give a message.
You give it to him, he really will.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who is here if you need to contact me. What about Brendan Fay? Brendan Fay, you know Brendan? Right there.
Hi Melissa, how you doing?
Hi Samara, thanks for being here today, our rally for transgender rights.
So now tell us, Melissa, what happened today here at the rally in Jackson Heights?
What we tried to do is, after the attacks on Leslie and Carmela, we wanted to make sure the entire communities of Jackson Heights knew that violence still exists on the streets, especially if you're a transgender woman. And we wanted to bring people together to educate them about the trials and tribulations of being transgender.
And now, who showed up here? Because I noticed there was Daniel Dromm and a whole bunch of other people. Who showed up?
We had
to the
elected
rally?
officials, we had candidates, but mostly we had members of the LGBT community of Jackson Heights. We had people from Make the Road, we had people from Housing Works, we had people from all sorts of people that care about justice for transgender people.
And how was that? How did it turn out? Did you have a good turnout?
We were hoping for 30 at first, then 80, then 100. We ended up with about 150 people today.
Oh wow, that's great. Any words you want to get out to people and these men that are causing trouble to the transgender community and doing these horrible acts to the girls?
I think it's very important that transgender people start to advocate for themselves and not expect gay and lesbian and straight people to carry the load. Only we know what the struggle is like. It's up to us to put those words out there. Only we can change the culture. We ask about the men. The men are ignorant and filled with hate. Eventually, karma's a bitch. My concern is doing what I can to make sure that transgender people come together and become empowered. I want to help them. If now in Queens, if men attack transgender women, there will be a penalty to pay. And the police have made it clear and the district attorney has made it clear. Violence against trans women is unacceptable in Queens.
Okay, now my next question is something relevant to this. Do you think the term tranny is offensive to the community? Because a lot of people use it. And some people do not get offended, some people do. What are your thoughts on that?
I think using the word tranny is a cultural thing, and I don't really know. I don't use it. I know people that do. Most of the people that I know are young people. And it doesn't make me happy. If trans people want to use it to identify, well, who am I to tell them? When non-trans people use it, I will try to correct them. I promise.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Is there any last words you want to say to, the community, the gay community, or just the straight community, anybody, everybody?
There is no way, there is no template for transgender people to come together and advocate for their rights. It's very important that all of us do the best we can to help and make a difference. Everyone has to do something. There aren't enough of us to go around.
Okay, thank you so much. Hi you guys, Samara Riviera here. I'm with Daniel Dromm, who's out here supporting the transgender community. Tell us, Daniel, why are you here today?
I think it's very, very important to come out into something like this because we have had a number of incidents here in this community. At least 2 young men were killed because they were gay at that time, but they're all interrelated. And I think that when hate crimes are perpetrated, what the perpetrators are trying to do is to send a message of hate and fear and intimidation to the community. And what we've got to do as a community is to stand up and say we're not going to tolerate that, to say that we are going to stand united and we are going to fight back against these kinds of violence. They don't scare us. We're going to fight against you. You come to our community, we are going to fight back.
So tell us, what did you think of the turnout today? There was only like 1 week notice, and we had a pretty good turnout. What do you think?
We had a pretty good turnout. I'm really proud. I think people really turned out. I was also particularly proud that a number of non-LGBT people from the community were here. They're making the connection. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, it's us today, but it could be you tomorrow, and that's the most important message we can send.
Exactly. Now, do you want to say a message to these girls, the transgender girls that were trans bashed here in Queens? What do you want to say to them so that they can feel safe?
What I want to say to them, what I want to say to them is that we are going to stand by you. We are not going to forget about this. Whenever anything like this happens to any member of the trans community, we are going to be there, and we are going to fight back. We are going to stand united in this battle against this type of violence.
Well, thank you so much for coming out to support the transgender community.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys, we're at the trans rally. What is it called, Ms. Laverne? This is Ms. Laverne Cox.
Actually, I'm not one of the organizers, so what I do know is that it's a rally to stop violence against transgender women. 2 transgender women were recently attacked in Queens, and I was actually late. But we're here basically to sort of speak out against violence against transgender women.
So we'll call it the Trans Peace Rally. That's a positive word.
Peace, anti-violence rally.
No, because that's a negative word. Violence. We're putting
Anti,
out the word violence.
but it's anti.
You know, so we want to be positive. So we'll say peace trans rally. Whatever.
Trans equality.
Trans equality. Perfect.
Equality.
So
because we are discriminated against disproportionately in society by the police, etc.
Yes. Now tell us, why was it important for you to be here in Queens today?
For me, it was important to just show my support, and so often, as I said, trans people are victims of violent crime. Our lives are usually often in danger just for being transgender, and that really needs to stop, and there need to be more forums and more voices heard to eradicate that. So that's why I'm here, because I think it's ridiculous and heartbreaking that you can be a victim of crime just because you're transgender.
So now tell us, what was the turnout? What did you think of the turnout here today?
Well, I got here late, so I didn't see the full turnout. I heard there were over 200 people, which is exciting. It's very exciting to me that many people turned out. And there's so many issues for us, and we're so disenfranchised on so many different levels in society, and there's so many things that we have to concern ourselves with. I mean, for me, my thing is the media and representations of us in the media. And for me, it's important as a person in the media to educate. I think education is like key. Obviously, we need to have more laws in place and more protections for transgender people. But if we have those laws and the hearts and minds of people who might discriminate against us and commit violence against us, if those hearts and minds aren't changed, the laws don't really matter. So it goes hand in hand.
Now, I have a question for you. A lot of the times, the reason this happens is because the men get scared and they think that they feel gay because they're attracted to a transgender. What do you want to say to men about that? You know, I mean, should they feel gay because they're attracted to transgender?
I have so many things to say to the men who might be attracted to us and then have anxiety about that attraction. I think ultimately if any of us have anxiety about someone else's identity, we need to look at ourselves. I think all the men out there who are attracted to transgender women not knowing we're trans, and attracted to transgender women knowing that we're trans, they all need to look at themselves. They all need to ask themselves, what are they afraid of? Because I think these men, usually they're men, are attacking us out of fear and insecurity. So they need to ask themselves, what are they afraid of? And I think there's a larger issue, too, of masculinity in this culture and how masculinity is constructed and how masculinity needs to be, it's constantly threatened by men feeling like gay people might want them, or someone who is trans threatens their masculine identity. So the whole construct of masculinity needs to be overhauled, really. But if that starts with individual men looking at themselves and asking themselves what they're afraid of.
I think we have to do a whole commentary on that. Me and you, we gotta talk
that's a
about
whole
that
thing,
at a future, at another time. But thank you so much for coming out and supporting us out here in Queens, the girls. So thank you, love.
Thank you.
Sorry.